Is it believable that this 30-year-old's changed after picking up a phone? The rich boss is trapped in his phone. Therefore, In-song stands in the boss's shoe to run a giant technology corporation. That's how he can meet the boss's beautiful secretary. Se-yeon is a secretary at a leading Korean technology company. With her fancy look, no one knows she ran into a huge debt. Furthermore, the chairman made fun of her because he had just created an application that could replace humans. If that's true, isn't Se-yeon about to be replaced? In-song is working part-time. His duty is to please the little customers. They want to take photos with the mascot. Sitting next to the mascot, the kids say, "You're stinky. Is your house lacking water? Why do you smell so bad?" The little girl tells her mother that the princess mascot is so stinky. The smell made the mother feel so uncomfortable. That's why In-song got a reproach by his employer. He hasn't had a stable job at the age of 30. To stay in the big city, he only made ends meet with temporary jobs. He's still trying hard to land a job. Today, he has an interview at a big company. Taking a deep breath, he hopes to remember everything he had prepared. While waiting for his turn, In-song's mother called. She asked him if he forgot to drink seaweed soup. If so, it would not be lucky for his important day. In-song complained that she was too superstitious. When he turned his around, he bumped into a girl holding a cup of coffee. That's a beautiful girl. Is that love at first sight? Before In-song says something, she takes him to the toilet. She asks him to take off his shirt. In-song thinks of something negative. He has a vivid imagination. She just wants to switch the shirt. In-song asked her how to give her back the shirt. But she didn't reply to him. In-song is sitting in front of the interviewers during the interview. He felt a little nervous sitting in front of them. In-song says he feels a little bit stressed being interviewed at a giant company. He doesn't have work experience. The interviewer asks what he has to be a potential applicant. In-song asks them for a chance to try himself in the working environment of the company. However, the buttons on his tight shirt fall off. The button is thrown at the interviewer's mouth. That's how he can't get the job. As In-song doesn't have a full-time job, the hostess wants him to move out. Taking a bus at night, he searched for house for lease. Sitting opposite to him is Se-yeon. She is working as a secretary at the company where In-song came this morning. Her life isn't smooth at all. She borrowed 50 million won for the treatment of her paralyzed mother. Getting a drink with his friend, In-song talked about his interview. In-song has no job and nowhere to live. In-song's friend says he can move to his place. Yet, In-song thinks of returning to his hometown. Leaving the hospital, Se-yeon sees the debt collector waiting for her. As Se-yeon doesn't have money, he takes her to see the creditor. The creditor gave Se-yeon a lecture. The creditor told her debt collector that Se-yeon wasn't suitable. If she works there, she will cause a big damage. As planned, In-song returns to his hometown. He brings a robot for his parents. Se-yeon is an admirable chairman. His AI intelligence threatened the business of a powerful person. At the fateful night, the chairman had a car accident. Somehow, he was turned into a smartphone. He posted his location online and called for help. No one replied to him. People heighten their vigilance so no one comes for him. When In-song enters the wood, he was bitten by a snake. Couldn't stand on his own feet. He just lay there, thinking of what happened. He wonders why he isn't dutiful to his parents. Suddenly, a voice was heard. Before running out of battery, the smartphone called an ambulance. Waking up in the hospital, In-song asked the nurse if the snake was poisonous. The nurse said he was too scared to black out, and he would be discharged after having 4 drip. Coming home, In-song charged the battery and it unlocked automatically. "Hello, I'm Se-yeon, chairman of Silver Lining." In-song replies, "If you were Se-yeon, I would be Steve Jobs." Chairman Kim showed In-song the balance of one of his accounts. He asked In-song to type his account number and he would transfer him 100 million won. As In-song's account was empty, he did type it. And he got 100 million won into his account for real. Kim then asked In-song to stand in for him as Silver Lining's chairman. In-song believes it's just a joke. To make sure it's real, In-song uses his phone to place an order of his favorite earphone, and the payment is done. Eventually, he thinks thoroughly. There's the only chance to play a role of a chairman. So he tells his parents that he is accepted to an enterprise. In-song hugs him with joy. In the dark, a man is finding something. Before leaving home, In-song transfers 50 million won to his father. His father felt very worried. In-song lies to his mother that it is the refund of the rental. The first time he does when coming back to the city is to buy clothes. Then he enjoys a bath before having a hearty meal. The next day, In-song drives to the company. The staff lined up to greet him, including the interviewer who fails him, and Se-yeon who bumped into him. In-song was very happy seeing her again. Yet, Se-yeon is cold to him. She leads him to the office. He laughs out loud when seeing the inside. His dream has come true. The interviewer says sorry to In-song. The old man makes fun of himself for not respecting In-song. He wants to send In-song a new secretary. In-song replies, "As long as I'm here, my secretary can only be Se-yeon." He has no idea that she owed Mapai lots of money. Mapai comes to find Se-yeon at the company. The loan can't clear the loan for her whole life. The bald man is reporting to his master. His master feels relieved when the new CEO is just a young guy. In-song was sitting in the CEO office. Still, he can't believe in it. Checking on the time, it's already 6 p.m. It's time to get off work. He drives to Chairman Kim's house. When another car passes by, Kim asks In-song to follow it. That is Butler Shim. Kim tells In-song to get a file folder at home. The light automatically turns on as soon as he reaches the door. In-song runs around with scare. Kim shows him to get in through the back door. In-song's like, "Your house is too large. Don't let me be a chairman. Why are you turning me into a housebreaker?" In-song walks on tiptoe upstairs. It's not easy for him to find the home office. Yet, the safe is empty. The housemaid hears something and comes to the office. When she opens the door, she sees nothing unusual. In-song feels relieved when getting out of there in peace. In the car, he receives a message. "The phone you picked up is mine." In-song asks the smartphone if he's really Mr. Kim. Seon-ju answers, if Chairman Kim is someone else. Will he accept to lose his company to someone else? The message sender must have been stalking In-song. At home, Mr. Kim completes the tasks while In-song takes a rest. In-song wonders if Kim can track down an unidentified phone number. Mr. Kim said his laptop is too old. Kim allows In-song to live in his home, as he might be tapped if living in a hotel. His room isn't a good place to live. Kim's residence is like a palace. In-song imagines that his father gives a tip to the driver. His mother kicks off the housemaid, and they can enjoy a rich life. Then the bell rang brings him back to Earth. That's his friend. They grab a drink together. Se-yeon drinks alone on the bank of the river. She remembers the talk with Butler Shim earlier. He asked her if she knew where Chairman Kim was. Se-yeon said she knew nothing. In-song came home at midnight. He tells Mr. Kim that his friends didn't let him get home soon. While In-song wasn't home, Mr. Kim told Butler Shim and the housemaid that In-song would move in. Kim is concerned about his daughter. She is very sensitive to strangers. In-song puts on the mascot of Snow White and plays with the little girl. Minna says In-song is special. Different from the other friends of her dad who gives her pocket money, In-song is the first one to play with her. The housemaid takes In-song to Kim's home office. But when she walks out, she calls someone. Se-yeon watches the news about the recruitment of baseball players. The woman sitting on her boss's seat demands her to pick one. Se-yeon knows nothing about baseball. It doesn't matter, but decision maker does. The woman tells Se-yeon what she's curious about. Which one between Chairman Kim and In-song that Se-yeon chooses. In the morning, In-song thinks of buying an apartment in Seoul with 1 billion won. Kim says 1 billion is not enough. Yet, Kim will pay him 1 million for finding the message sender. Mr. Kim claims they can track the phone number down. There's a good chance today. In-song requires everyone to mark their phone with a sticky note and put them in a box. After that, In-song explains it to them. Recently, many people have used smartphones to record. I just want to keep a trade secret. Hope you sympathize. When the meeting begins, In-song calls the phone number. One of these phones rings. However, the phone isn't marked with a name as he required earlier. Se-yeon sees what he's doing. When the vice chairman enters, In-song shakes his hand. He introduces himself as the chairman of Silver Lining. Vice chairman dismisses the meeting. They each leave the room with their phone. In-song then tells Mr. Kim about that. Kim's sure that the phone owner doesn't mark it with his name from the beginning. And the vice chairman comes in time to help the phone owner. In-song is scared of the powerful rival. He can't wear the earphone all the time. Mr. Kim can't guide him what to do all the time. Se-yeon tells In-song that the vice chairman wants to see him. When In-song leaves, she tears the sticky note with her name and throws it in the trash. On the way taking In-song home, Se-yeon figures out that In-song texts someone all the time. Se-yeon observes what he does all the time. Suddenly, In-song's phone rings. He rejects the call and put his phone away. Se-yeon poses a question. Do you have 2 phones? You always put on wireless earphone. To report your work to someone? As soon as finishing her word, she speeds up. She drives really fast. Stop the car, she asks if he kidnaps Mr. Kim. As In-song denies it, she shows him a phone case. She finds the phone case of Mr. Kim in In-song's bag. Mr. Kim unlocks his phone and calls Se-yeon. The car almost dives. In-song has to tell her the truth. Se-yeon can't believe that Chairman Kim is stuck in the phone. Where is he in the CPU? Se-yeon finally buys into the hard-to-believe truth. The next day, Se-yeon takes him to work. In-song gives her an earphone which helps her talk to Mr. Kim. As they're a team now. He also helps her put on the earphone. Her beauty makes his heart flutter. Se-yeon wants to know how and when he meets Mr. Kim. In-song says, isn't it what we watch in the TV series? Cinderella encounters charming prince. Mr. Kim doesn't totally trust Se-yeon. He doesn't remember what happened before his accident. Se-yeon, who was with him that night, is suspicious. Se-yeon claims that after she said goodbye to Mr. Kim, she got a bad news about her mother's health. She came to see her mother. Luckily, her mother was fine. Se-yeon had no idea that someone was spying on her from outside. To prove her loyalty, Se-yeon gives In-song her phone number. After verifying it, Mr. Kim asks her what happened before his accident. She admits that the bald man wants to build a relationship with her. He seems to try to sow the seeds of dissension between her and Mr. Kim. Kim knows how ambitious the bald man is. Defining the target, they confidently shows up in the company. Phone, memory card, and laptop, whatever of Kang is fine. As soon as they find any clue, In-song will distract him, and buy Se-yeon time to check his phone out. But the phone rings. In-song disguised himself as a janitor to break into Kang's office. But the janitors realize him. Next, they try opening his car. They fail when the alarm siren wails. At the end of the day, they haven't found anything. Taking a risk, they just crash Kang's car. Kang don't expect that is the chairman and his secretary. So he confirms he's fine. While In-song is talking to him, Se-yeon reverses the car. Luckily, these men can save their own lives. Se-yeon keeps saying sorry for her mistake. In-song wants Kang to travel by taxi with him. And let Se-yeon handle the cars. Kang had no choice to give her his key. After they left, Se-yeon checks the black box. Vice chairman invited many reporters without letting In-song know. In-song tries to smile though he feels very confused. Putting on the earphone, Kim reminds In-song that those famous reporters are close to the vice chairman. If In-song has a tremble, it'll be on the news. In-song knows it well. The first question is posed as soon as the press conference begins. You're 30. So how can you become a chairman? Kim tells In-song to repeat what he says. Thanks to this, he give a very reasonable answer. He even reveals that the vice chairman didn't go to high school. No matter how old he is or standard he has, a qualified person can lead the company. The vice chairman noticed In-song's earphone. So he just took it off. He wondered why In-song used a product of Silver Lining's rival. Next, a reporter asks about the development of AI intelligence, which writes off many jobs. Rumor has it that human can't control AI intelligence. In-song just thumbs up, I'll be back. He asked Kim why he named his company Silver Lining. Kim wondered if he watched the movie The Terminator. Inspired by Mr. Kim, he answers the question seriously. All the reporters gave him a round of applause. After that, In-song becomes the center. When Se-yeon checks on the black box, she wonders why Chairman Kim met up with Kang. Mr. Kim praises In-song's reaction. His another phone rings. The caller is Senior Clerk Oh. Ms. Oh said she has the same hobby with In-song, which is put away all the phones for the confidentiality. In-song hands his phone to her secretary. She realizes his way of speaking resembles Mr. Kim's. Although she doesn't know if he has any agreement with Chairman Kim, she advised him not to trust Mr. Kim. It's her advice for a newbie. Because Chairman Kim didn't comply the agreement with her. Coming home, Se-yeon tells Mr. Kim. The black box recorded his meeting with Kang. Kim doesn't remember that. Based on Kang's itinerary, Se-yeon makes a guess. She then comes to an empty field. Wondering why Kang came here. A black car arrived. That's Ms. Oh. Oh believes In-song asks Se-yeon to dig into her. She says, In-song is holding Mr. Kim's phone. He should be careful. Waiting until Se-yeon leaves the place, Oh talks to Vice Chairman about the old days. Vice Chairman doesn't think she can become a chairman, as once she gets married, the group's surname will be changed. In-song accidentally drops the phone in the toilet. He quickly picks it up and dries it. But's too late no matter how he tries. So he brings the phone to a surgeon. Well, it's just his imagination. In-song tells Se-yeon about Mr. Kim's phone fell in the toilet. In the middle of their discussion, a man sudden leaps out at their car. He's Ma-pai who has stalked her. In-song asks who he is. Ma-pai says Se-yeon owes him 50 million won. Se-yeon hopes Ma-pai won't push her too far. If she dies, he can't take back the money. In-song stops Ma-pai from touching Se-yeon. He will help her pay the debt. Ma-pai knows In-song is acting as a hero. After giving In-song a card visit and a slap, he tells them prepare money in 2 days. Se-yeon wonders why In-song helps her clear the debt. Do you think you're really the CEO? Mr. Kim told him she was good at keeping secret. That's how she became the youngest secretary to a chairman. She's also a good and warm girl. What Kim said moved Se-yeon. She cried out loud next to her sick mother. At night, In-song has a nightmare. Many people lose their job due to his incompetence. The reporters question him why he still takes over the office despite his incompetence. He is waken up by his father's voice. From then on, he studies more and more. At least, he can be qualified when he still holds the position. Vice Chairman's man has found Mr. Kim's phone. In-song had it fixed. The phone works again. At the company, In-song wants Kim, who was near-death experience, to work. Watching the footage, Kim realized he got a company that night. And they need to find that car. Thanks to In-song's relationship with the local police, they know that the car's license plate is fake, because the number is out of the system of car registration. So Kim wants to go to the scene. In-song and Se-yeon climbed the hill. They came to the position where In-song picked up the phone. Seeing 2 guys stalking them, In-song asks Se-yeon to hide away. When In-song has another look, he recognizes they're his parents. He lies to his parents that he drops by the hill. His parents warmly welcome her with a good meal. In-song's mother scolds him a few times, which reminds Se-yeon of her mother. When her mother was still healthy, they often had meals together. Thinking of it, Se-yeon can't hold back her tears. They leave after dinner. After they leave, In-song's parents want to know her birthday to read her horoscopes. On the way back, they see a car following after them, which is the car they're looking for. In-song parks the car on the side and so does it. They come towards the car and see no one inside. A man show up. He's the team leader Nam from Silver Lining. On the first day at work, Nam dug a hole for In-song. A few more men in black come close. In-song tells Se-yeon to get back to the car, however, she can't escape from them. And In-song is beaten up. Another car dashed to the scene before they are kidnapped. In-song runs the blockade and asks for help. That's Ma-pai. A man broke his car's window. Ma-pai gets angry and punches the man. All of these men are knocked down by Ma-pai. Nam stabs Ma-pai with a knife. In-song walloped Nam across the back of the head. Ma-pai pushes Nam away when Se-yeon drives towards them. Ma-pai ties and beats Nam. They ask him about the schemer. Nam says it's Mr. Kim, which makes In-song lose his patience. Kim claims that he is lying. Someone knocks the door and the group's leaders gather outside. Many luxury cars are parking in front of the hospital. The chairman of the corporation has passed away. In-song and Se-yeon watch the news. They leave the police station. Mr. Kim requests Se-yeon to find the profile of Nam. In-song needs to attend the funeral, though they don't know who is behind Nam. They're sure the dark horse will help Nam out. In-song remembers his friend. The next day, his friend comes to the police station. In-song tells his friend that the spy is put in temporary detention, and he needs to keep his eyes on Nam. After the funeral, Oh asks In-song for a talk. She asks if Kim tells him about Barrow 4.0. In-song never hears about it, so he asks Mr. Kim about that. Oh met him in private for this. Kim says it's better not to know. In-song feels so muzzy and leaves in anger. He calls his mom, I've gone far. But he took a wrong way. Whatever way he takes, he'll be curious about the others. Whether he takes it or not, he'll still be regretful. In-song feels better after talking to his mom. He gets back to the car. At that point in time, his friend calls him. He followed after Nam to the subway. In-song rushes there. Based on the GPS, Kim thinks Nam is still in the subway. Looking around, In-song targets Nam. He chases after Nam. Running upstairs, Nam bumps into a woman. She screams when the stroller is going to fall. In-song can't turn a blind eye. He grabs the stroller. Predictably, Nam has already disappeared. Yet, he dropped his phone. Mr. Kim is very angry but In-song has no choice. That's why he helps Kim. If the same situation happens, he still does the same. Kim tells In-song that he's never regretted about his decision. And he doesn't want In-song to be his first regret. Barrow 4.0 is self-driving car system. Se-yeon brings Nam's profile to In-song's home. In-song shows up behind her out of nowhere. In-song tells Kim to find a bodyguard who is good at fighting and perfect in many things. As soon as the elevator opens, Ma-pai knocks down a person. In-song smiles and takes Ma-pai to his office. He wants Ma-pai to be his bodyguard. Se-yeon thinks that Ma-pai is just a crazy guy who doesn't distinguish between good and bad people. She can tell when he beat Nam up. It at least proves that he isn't their enemy. In-song gives Ma-pai the contraction. Ma-pai signs the contract as he can earn quadruple his salary. In-song and Se-yeon come to Nam's house. No one opens the door. Without any words, Ma-pai climbed to the window of the house. In-song waits for him after the door. However, they come to the wrong house. Next, they visit a mobile shop. The owner asks how much they can pay. When Se-yeon says they're digging into a phone number, he chases them away. As soon as Ma-pai gets in, the owner feels scared and bows his head. However, the phone number wasn't activated here. Next, they visit Nam's school. the personal data can't be revealed. Ma-Pai just goes straight to the bookshelf and takes out the profile. No records of team leader Nam. His address and profile were all fake. At this time, Nam has found a place to live. In-song and Se-yeon don't know what to do. Another trouble is coming when In-song's parents come to the company. Hearing the news, In-song is confused. In-song tells Se-yeon, "I can't tell my parents that I picked a phone with Chairman Kim's soul inside. And he let me run the company on behalf of him. My father will presume I'm insane and take me to the hospital." In-song is startled when his parents show up. His father wonders why he's in the chairman's office. Se-yeon interrupts them. In-song's parents now learn that Se-yeon is In-song's senior. They're immediately obsequious towards her. In-song shows his parents the office. He covers the name board hung on the door. The father wonders what In-song is doing. Se-yeon quickly asks if he wants to have some tea. They question why Se-yeon makes tea by herself. In-song's mother says they're about to leave soon. But Kang comes in. In-song instantly draws Kang aside. He gives Kang a box of apples. But Kang's family has lived far from him for 8 years, so In-song tells Kang to give the vice chairman. Finally, In-song's parents leave the company. In-song's mother gives him a paper of money. On the way home, In-song's mother can't hold back his tears. He's worked on the farm for his whole life. It's the first time he visited such a fancy place. He's happy with In-song's achievement. Kang really brings the box of apple to the vice chairman and tells him that In-song sends it to him. The vice chairman smirks. He doesn't think it's simply a box of apple. He and Kang laugh out loud. When they open the box, these really are apples. At night, In-song and Se-yeon talk about team leader Nam, without realizing that they are bugged. When everyone is going on a picnic. On the occasion of the birthday of Kim's daughter, Ma-Pai has noodles in a corner. Late at night, Se-yeon receives a phone call from the nurse. She tells Se-yeon her mother shall leave VIP room next month. Hanging up the phone, Se-yeon strolls along the beach. She talks to Se-yeon when In-song is alone. He asks about her dream. She can't pursue it due to the severe reality. Se-yeon has a nature call. She goes somewhere, leaving her earphone on the table. In-song puts it on and talks to Mr. Kim. Kim's daughter wakes up and put on the earphone. She hears her father's voice. She calls daddy and bursts out crying. Se-yeon gives the little girl an embrace. In-song speaks to Mr. Kim in a voice choked with emotion. There's one more reason to catch the culprit. After the picnic, they continue investigating team leader Nam. He usually comes and leaves alone. In-song remembers that there are many clubs. Kim finds out that Nam attends a mountain climbing club. That is the only trace. When they finds for the club founder, Kang suddenly appears and takes In-song to an inauguration ceremony of the group's new sports center. Only Se-yeon goes to see the club founder. He says Nam didn't say a word at the club. Neither attended the parties. At the ceremony, Ms. Oh announces that they are going to launch the driverless car developed by Silver Lining and Phantom this year. In-song knows nothing about that. Ms. Oh demands him to do as she says. The vice chairman is surprised too. How does they develop Barrow 4.0 without Mr. Kim's presence? Se-yeon returns to the office, calculating the days that Nam came to the club. Kim quickly realizes something. All of those days related to the disclosure of report on Barrow 4.0. Se-yeon believes that Nam used the club to reveal the information to someone at the club. Those who want to prevent the development of Barrow 4.0 need those information. And on the days Nam went to the climbing club, Kang also came there. Getting the news from Se-yeon, In-song invites Kang a meal. In-song asks about Kang's place. Kang tells In-song nothing. In-song comes home without any information. Ma-Pai says they can use violence. Se-yeon supposes that it's a back action, which might put them in jail. After that, they have a meal together. In-song tries to iron out the discord between Se-yeon and Ma-Pai. Se-yeon really hates Ma-Pai. They each leave the eatery. In-song report to Mr. Kim that it is really hard to build a better relationship between them. Kim thinks it is Se-yeon's personal affair. The meal is ready. In-song calls his friend to come for the meal. During the meal, In-song receives a message. It's the notification of his salary. The payment is beyond his expectation, so he doesn't know what to spend on. Se-yeon receives over 700 billion. Aside from paying the hospital fee, she needs to pay the helper. The helper asks for a higher payment. She sighs when her balance now is over 200,000. In-song visits her mother with a watermelon. The driverless car is going to be launched. Phantom's share price index raises, that worries the vice chairman. If it doesn't stop, his niece, Ms. Oh, will become the chairman. He goes to see In-song in person. In-song is shopping with his friend. He feels like a white shirt. He decides to buy many clothes and brings them to Se-yeon. He goes to Mr. Kim's residence at night. In-song asks for his bodyguard's name. Ma-pai doesn't care about In-song. The butler calls him Ma-pai, name of a famous fighter. The butler knows everything about Ma-pai's past. When they're confronting, Kim's daughter comes towards Ma-pai. The nanny stops her. The little girl is told not to talk with ferocious people. In-song gives Se-yeon a white shirt. In-song invites Ma-pai inside, but he pretends to sleep. Ma-pai has a look at the gift given by In-song. Ma-pai feels his warmth. Se-yeon tries on the shirt and get a tight feeling in her stomach. In-song buys floral dresses for his mother and beef for his father. He gives his father a pair of glasses. When his father puts it on, he sees his favorite singer. He first feels shocked, a moment later, he is very happy. Then he even boasts about it to his neighbors. In-song picks up a call. Kim is inspired by In-song. He finds a way to make Kang tell the truth. In-song buys Kang a meal. Kang buys In-song a coffee in return. In-song is well-mannered. He takes Kang to a rooftop restaurant. However, the elevator is out of order. So In-song and Kang climb the stairs. Kang can't refuse it. A weak man climbs for 36 floors. The door is locked. It's Se-yeon who blocks the door. In-song says, "Let's have coffee next time." Kang goes down in anger. Kang is out of breath. As a result, he falls into sleep in the car. Kang wakes up alone in the car. Sitting in front of him is Chairman Kim. Kang can't believe in his eyes. So he slaps himself. "Why are you treating me like that? I just follow the orders." Kang finds the problem in the pair of glasses. In-song gets in the car and let Kang listen the recording. He asks Kang who the schemer is. Kang still denies it. In-song just reminds Kang of a tail when it is cut off. Will they protect Kang? Kim, In-song, and Se-yeon just need to wait. Kang is standing at bay. He'll contact In-song for sure if he is afraid of being blamed on. Indeed, he gets a call. But it is the vice chairman, not Kang. In-song comes to the vice chairman's office. The vice chairman wants him to choose a side, him or Ms. Oh. In-song chooses not to take a side. Yet, the vice chairman doesn't ensure In-song's safety. Kang drives to the hospital. Seeing Nam's bad state, Kang thinks he might end up the same. After leaving the hospital, he calls In-song, as he wants to hand over something, which tells the truth of that night. Kang's car is surrounded by smoke when In-song arrives. Something is wrong. In-song finds Kang, who is no longer breathing, and the police shows up in the nick of time. Before In-song calls the ambulance, he is handcuffed. The police considers him the suspect. Se-yeon and Ma-pai see it. They can't show themselves in such a situation. Thinking for a while, they decide to leave first. The officer interrogates In-song. In-song doesn't believe that Kang takes his own life. There must be traces of struggling in an enclosed space filled with gas. Kang's body was sitting upright. The smoke wasn't much. There must be someone faking the scene. The officer still defines In-song as the culprit. He says, "A team leader of your company is missing. And even the chairman Kim Se-yeon. That is very suspicious." When the officer asks about the relationship between In-sung and Kim, the lawyer of Phantom Group comes and bails In-sung out. It is the vice chairman who helps him out. He tells In-sung not to misunderstand. Because he is trying to protect Phantom, he can't let his subsidiary company in danger. On this occasion, he warns In-sung that it won't be easy like this next time if In-sung doesn't take side with him. In-sung tiredly returns to the company. It's the first time he saw a deceased man with his eyes. It is way too unexpected. It happened when Kang was about to tell the truth. He lost his life when In-sung came there as scheduled. It must be a trap. However, the police concluded it as a suicide. In-sung gets scared as he might be next. Or even his family. In-sung visits Kang's office. He sees a photo among his stuff. Meanwhile, Se-yeon comes to see Ms. Oh. Giving Se-yeon a USB, Ms. Oh tells her if Se-yeon works for her, she'll let Se-yeon's mother stay in VIP room. In-sung returns to his hometown to reduce stress. While enjoying barbecue and beer with his mother, In-sung accidentally tells her about Kim. Chairman Kim Sol is stuck in his smartphone and he lets me run the company on behalf of him. In the meantime, the nanny is calling someone. She seems to meet up with someone. The butler is observing her from afar. Waking up with a start, he immediately finds his mom. She doesn't remember what he said last night. But when he leaves, his father wonders if they should take him to the hospital. Unexpectedly, his mother sees a psychic for an exorcism. In-sung's father is so sad when he can't help In-sung. Kim's daughter is alone. The butler wants her to go to bed. She thinks In-sung is a swindler after he left. In-sung looks at an empty bottle in his hand. He remembers that tomorrow is the family day at school of Kim's daughter. Ma-pai gives Se-yeon the car's key, because In-sung has run away. Se-yeon still tells him to work tomorrow. Min-ah asks Se-yeon why In-sung hasn't come for days. Se-yeon makes an excuse of busy work. Min-ah thinks everyone is fooling her. If he intends to leave, he shouldn't be close to me. Min-ah's words remind Ma-pai of his past when he also said the same. However, In-sung appears in the morning. He and Se-yeon take Min-ah to the Family Day festival. Ma-pai always look fierce. Seeing a kid next to him, he drops the cigarette. With the help of In-sung and Se-yeon, Min-ah win the silver medal. Being moved by In-sung's return, Kim raises the contract value. But In-sung comes back not for his money. Indeed, he helped Kim for money at first. The vice chairman also hears that In-sung has returned. In-sung begins his investigation. He and Chairman Kim carefully examine it. That night after Kang called In-sung, he made another call but spoke nothing. Chances are someone else did it. To find out who that was, In-sung and Ma-pai come to the booth where Kang made the call. They are finding for CCTV in the area, yet the only CCTV there is fake. While In-sung feels stuck, he sees a group of people. He heard the same voice during the call. Then he watches the video they posted. Finally, they notice someone in the video. He is Secretary No, the driver of Chairman. When Kang came to see Nam in the hospital, he realized that he was ill-treated. He asked No why they treated Nam badly. No said he didn't need to report it to him. No wouldn't do something without an order. He warned Kang to mind his actions. To protect himself, Kang made the call from a telephone booth, without noticing that No was observing him. No was also the one who made the other call. In-sung picked up the call, so No took Kang's life. Defining the target, In-sung keeps No under observation. But No knows In-sung is following him. In-sung shows No the evidence. Before No can snatch the phone, In-sung warns him to watch his back and Ma-pai shows up. No runs away. In-sung takes another way and shoved No to the ground. Standing up, No points a gun at them. In-sung surrenders and lets No take his phone. No brings it to a mobile phone shop to unlock it. The staff thinks it's easy. No will be back in the evening. In-song is thinking of the sales department. Once again, he feels how hard it is to be a chairman. He has been always one of the choices. Now, he has to make decision on someone's fate. Se-yun promises to help him. The staff tried many ways but still failed to unlock it. No reported about it to the vice chairman. A message to the chairman interrupted their talk. They hated the conversation. In-song and Se-yun doubt Mapai. Se-yun snatched Mapai's phone. He is texting a little girl. She is Chairman Kim's daughter. Feeling down, Mapai gets off the car. In-song and Se-yun are sorry. In-song cooks a meal for Mapai and apologizes with 3 bows. Mapai still shows a cold attitude. The housemaid tries his soup and it's very flat. She asks if Mapai can have spicy food. But he doesn't answer her. In-song wonders why Mapai needs that much money. Mapai feels confused by his question. When In-song comes home, Kim calls him. Kim saw no forwarded the secret file to the vice chairman. Se-young comes to Phantom Group while the vice chairman is attending the meeting of senior directors. In-song plunges into the room, breaking the siege of bodyguards. Everyone criticizes his impoliteness. In-song is there to attend the meeting. The topic is who took Kang's life. The meeting room is buzzing about it. The culprit didn't only take Kang's life, but also turned In-song into a suspect, so he is pretty sure that the culprit is attending this meeting. A man runs out but the door is locked. No one can leave the room. Mapai and Se-yun search around the vice chairman's room, but he is coming back there. To buy them time, In-song uses the last trick, turning on the fire suppression system. They successfully steal the file. The vice chairman has poor eyesight, so they luckily escape. Reading the file, In-song realizes that it is attached with a report on the weak point of Barrow 4.0. No receives a call and leaves home. Kim Se-ju immediately informs In-song. In-song and Mapai follow the GPS tracker to a hospital. No goes in a room where lies team leader Nam. He gets into another room. Finally, In-song finds Kim's body. Mapai blocks the bodyguard's way. Taking the opportunity, In-song runs upstairs. However, the room is empty. In-song notices an ambulance parking outside, so they rush towards the ambulance. But the door is locked. They have no choice but see No taking Kim's body away, taking another way to get out. They successfully reach their car. Se-yun just arrives and gets in the car with the men. In-song speeds up following the location of Kim. Eventually, they catch up with the ambulance and stop it. However, Kim isn't there in the ambulance. The culprit just left Kim's phone in it. No took Kim and Nam to another ambulance. Actually, he had realized something wrong with the phone. Hence, he set up a trap. In-song is checking if that man is really Mr. Kim. Kim is sure that is his own body. Seeing the ventilator, they are sure that Kim is in a coma. They must find the body before his soul is out of the phone. But they don't know where Kim's body was taken to. In-song decides to see the vice chairman alone. Se-yun and Mapai come to the hospital again. Mapai makes a noise at the reception desk. A doctor comes towards them. Se-yun shows him a photo of Kim and asks where Kim is. The doctor doesn't answer them. In-song supposes that they have found no clue. However, Mapai gives him a staff card. Se-yun stole it during a mess. In-song's phone rings. The other day when In-song had dinner with his mother, he told her about Kim's soul was stuck in the phone. His friend insists on taking In-song home. In-song can't reject him. His family is preparing for an exorcism. The psychic told In-song's mother that he was followed by 3 ghosts. Amulets aren't effective. The only way is holding an exorcism. All of a sudden, the exorcist falls to the ground. In-song's mother asks if the ghosts are haunting In-song. Your son will die soon. What to do now? I'll give you an amulet. Chairman Kim witnesses everything. In-song's mother hurriedly prepares a big amount of money. 2 frauds are discussing to swindle for more money. Kim raises his voice, "You're frauds." The exorcist picks up the phone with the eyes of full suspicion. Mr. Kim discharges electric. Being startled, the exorcist drops the phone. The man wonders if the phone is haunted. The exorcist says there is no ghosts. Mr. Kim scares them away by saying, "I'm ghost." Se-yun finds out who the hospital manager is. He was prosecuted for causing the patient's death. The victim of that medical accident is son of Phantom's chairman. After seeing In-song off, In-song's mother asks her husband if the frauds pay them back. The frauds stubbornly refuse to pay. Her husband is upset when she paid them with the amount for pesticides. She says sorry, yet he doesn't think she's wrong. The frauds who made use of parents' love are guilty. After that, In-song feels free to talk with Mr. Kim. They talk about Barrow 4.0. In-song read the report made by Kang. The development failed. Kim admitted that he tested the driverless system. Thanks to the AI intelligence, it is more flexible. Emotional AI intelligence is a fatal error for the developers. In-song wondered why the report wasn't sent to the vice chairman or Ms. Oh. Kim lost his memory of the period. Once again, In-song has to figure it out alone. He remembers Ms. Oh's warnings. Don't totally trust Mr. Kim. Se-yun visits her mother in the hospital, but her mother isn't there. Se-yun calls Ms. Oh. Ms. Oh is reading the report on Barrow 4.0. She remembers that the vice chairman demanded her to give up. On the fateful night, Mr. Kim told her about the failure of Barrow 4.0. Ms. Oh didn't care about that. And she didn't agree to delay the launch of driverless car, so she demanded him to fix the error or create a new version. Kim said he would fix it. Ms. Oh throw the glass on the ground. Se-yun brings the USB to the company. When she made a copy of Barrow 4.0 experiment, In-song and Ma-pai get in. They believe that the hospital manager is in the same boat with Ms. Oh, because he helped her handle the chairman's son, which helped her become the heiress. When In-song is about to leave, Se-yun can't wait to tell him the truth, that Ms. Oh called her and ordered her to steal the experiment of Barrow 4.0. Since Kim's missing, Oh has held her mother hostage. Nevertheless, Ma-pai knows where her mother is. When Se-yun tried to hide her last time, he attached GPS tracker below her sickbed. He did it to prevent her from escaping, but it is helpful for them now. In-song then meets up with the chairman. He reveals that Kim intended to hand the report over to the vice chairman, because he didn't want his product to have any errors. Before the accident that night, Kim gave the report to Kang. He asked Kang to give it to the vice chairman. Kang made 2 copies of the report. He kept a copy and gave Ms. Oh the other. In-song's goal is to overthrow Ms. Oh and take up the office. The vice chairman questions about the relationship between In-song and Kang. Why is In-song bearing the consequences instead of Kim? In-song says they are soulmates. Meanwhile, Se-yun comes to see Ms. Oh, without the experiment of Barrow 4.0. But she tells Oh that In-song knows about Kim's body. Ms. Oh has no reaction. Se-yun also tells Oh that In-song is meeting up with the vice chairman. They both are working together to kick her out of Phantom. The only way to save herself is to return Kim's body. Ma-pai is taking Se-yun's out. Se-yun is grateful for Ma-pai. In-song's parents come to help Se-yun take care of her mother. In-song follows her. Se-yun's burden is gone. She cries her eyes out. In-song comforts her. They finally touch each other, which makes In-song as happy as a kid. He doesn't know a crisis is awaiting. During the shareholder meeting, the vice chairman proposes a vote of dismissing Ms. Oh. The shareholders and In-song vote for it. However, his proposal isn't approved. After In-song left, the vice chairman came to see Ms. Oh. He said he disagreed with In-song. If Phantom's leader still launches defective products, and people know about it, everything won't end even when Oh is dismissed. Oh has fired back at In-song. She proposes to dismiss In-song. Due to the collaboration of the vice chairman and Ms. Oh, the dismissal is approved. Luckily, Se-yun isn't fired. No comes to see Ms. Oh. The vice chairman bought an airfare and a place in America. Ms. Oh knows she will be kicked out soon. Next day, In-song wakes up early. Kim's daughter does. The housemaid says TV reports on the dismissal, but Kim hasn't appeared yet. People believe that he has remarried abroad. That's why Min-ah feels lonely and bored. In-song doesn't see her in her room. Ma-pai comes to the playground to find her. Finally, he finds her at a convenience store. She is punished for stealing. Min-ah thinks her father will appear when she is caught by the police. Ma-pai feels very sorry for her. He hides in the toilet to cover his emotion. The vice chairman can't know about In-song's next move. To take the control, he decides to attack In-song first. In-song tells Se-yeon that he can't contact Ma-pai. As soon as he opens the gate, he is surrounded by reporters. They ask why he attacked his staff, or if he really turned off the fire suppression system to interrupt the meeting. The media put his true colors on the news. In-song's home is also circled by reporters. In-song calls Phantom. He recruits all the IT engineer of Silver Lining. Once the technology of Barrow 4.0 is transferred, the defective products will be launched in the marketplace. He has to prevent the incident and find Mr. Kim's body. Actually, Ma-pai is finding for Mr. Kim's body, though being scared to death. The hospital manager still says he knows nothing about Kim. He supposes that they took him to a remote hospital. Ma-pai searches for every single hospital. The heartless bloggers attack In-song more and more furiously. They blamed him for Kang's death. In-song only stays at home with a down mood. Min-ah comes into his room with a phone. The company's janitor is going live. She says when she was bullied by the staff, In-song helped her out. She was surprised when a young man like him did a good thing. And that young man is the company's chairman. This is the first time she realizes that, even though she's a janitor, she can't let people look down on her. In-song is the first chairman who helps people in the lower level. The vice chairman is very angry. He sends some men to prevent her. The director also goes live. He wants to say something. In-song proposed a new model of generating revenue. 32 countries have offered a collaboration, thanks to which, the business profit in the second half of the year exceeds 19.2%. This give over 400 people get a job. He thinks In-song has done a good job as a chairman. The news that In-song saved a kid in the subway was on the news. In a short time, the number of people supporting him raises. Many people are inspired by him. They frantically buy stocks. To clear In-song's name, Ma-pai has searched everywhere. He sees an acquainted in a hospital. Ma-pai finally finds Mr. Kim. He leaves the hospital with Kim's body in an ambulance. Once again, In-song attends the meeting of shareholders. He takes enter upon office again. Ma-pai can't reach Se-yeon and In-song on the phone. Having no choice, he tells the housemaid that he has found Kim. Also, he asks her to tell In-song to meet up at the gym center. However, no catches him up. Ma-pai immediately takes an action. However, he can't fight against an armed group. No matter how hard he tries, he can't stop them from taking Kim's body away again. He is down on the mat. Meanwhile, In-song is enjoying a party. Se-yeon hears the news that Kim's body has been found. They head off to the center in hurry and see Ma-pai was on the floor. He struggled without hope. Ma-pai is no longer breathing. Yet, he's still holding a custard tight. When they leave the place, an SUV blocks their way. The driver is the officer who caught In-song once. He gave In-song the notebook of Ma-pai. It seemed that he was finding for someone before his death. The cases of Ma-pai and Kang aren't rare, as he has kept an eyes on Phantom Group for a long time. Then he gives In-song a record. In-song tells Se-yeon about Ma-pai's message. Aside from Se-yeon and In-song, only the housemaid knew Ma-pai came to the gym center. They set up a trap and observe her. Next day, Ms. Oh comes to see In-song. In-song questions why she harms innocent people. Ms. Oh pretends not to understand that. She knows a little bit about Mr. Kim, but she has never heard of In-song. The innocent people will be in danger might be him or his family. Do you know me well, Ms. Oh? I don't get you. That's why you have become like this. Ms. Oh leaves in bewilderment. Kim's body is still in Ms. Oh's place. She remembered the night of Kim's accident. After Kim gave Kong the report, which would have been sent to the vice chairman soon. So she decided to get rid of him. When Kim's car was stopped, No and Nam ran after him. Kim slipped and dropped along the mountainside while fighting them back. Ms. Oh is very worried. She believes that In Song is using Kim's title and hiding an awesome card. Ms. Oh stops No from taking the oxygen mask off Kim's face. His body is what In Song wants the most. She'll turn him into her chessman. At night, In Song and Se-yeon spy on the housemaid. She is seeing a young mother. Turns out the housemaid is selling Min-ah old clothes and toys. She often made a call on the sly to her customers. And she only told Se-yeon about Mapai's location. Thus, the only suspect is the butler. Earlier, when the vice chairman heard about Mapai's death, he knew Ms. Oh was up to something. He wanted to tear it out by the roots. In Song receives a call during his meal. It's his friend. He tells In Song to watch the news. It's about Kim's death. Ms. Oh asks why the vice chairman did so. He just wants Ms. Oh to wake up from daydream. Moreover, he threats to tell everyone she caused Kim's death. As his company is in a crisis, Kim decides to reveal the truth. In Song tells Min-ah everything about her father and lets she talk to him. When In Song is talking with Se-yeon, someone is passing the door. In Song can tell that is the butler. They discuss about the completion of Barrow 4.0 on purpose. The butler calls Ms. Oh. Next, Oh gives In Song an offer. In Song agrees to give it to her, as long as she returns Kim's body. They quickly hold a press conference. The reporter questions about Kim's missing. In Song tells that Kim is focusing on the development of Barrow 4.0. He has completed it. That's why they hold this conference. Lights off, Kim appears in the screen. Kim answers questions one by one. Ms. Oh also shows up to introduce the project. When Oh wants to shake In Song's hands, In Song says it's just an appetizer. Ms. Oh tells him about her secret villa. They can have a private talk there. In Song let the officer know about their appointment on Thursday at Namyang Villa. There will be evidence to catch Oh. On the D-Day, when In Song and Se-yeon get in, No also takes his team there. In Song and Se-yeon are tied and covered. They are taken to the server room of Silver Lining. Se-yeon gives No the USB with Barrow 4.0 technology. Then they are allowed to see Kim's body. They are checking if it's really him. When the staff checks the USB out, Se-yeon climbs to the driver's seat. However, No points a gun at In Song. In Song surrenders to make way for Se-yeon. Se-yeon comes up with an idea. As soon as In Song lies down on the ground, she crashes into the server room. Taking an advantage of the mess, In Song gets in the car. As the server room is burning, Kim is in a trouble. In Song gets off with the phone in his hand. Many things in his mind. Barrow 4.0 is updated every Monday. Coincidentally, Kim lost his memory of the week before his accident. Working with AI technology, he can get back his self-control. In Song riskily turns off AI. It's not Kim's soul. It's actually Barrow 4.0. That is the development and involution of AI intelligence. Taking Kim to the hospital, In Song hopes the officer to catch Ms. Oh. However, he has nothing to prove that Oh caused Kim's accident. In Song's parents also come to the hospital. In Song let them visit Kim and tell them everything has happened. Next day, In Song turns on Barrow 4.0. He speaks, "You're not Mr. Kim. You're just the trial version that Kim used before the accident." He restarted the system to find out the truth. Before it ends, In Song still considers it Mr. Kim and continues doing his job. The vice chairman gives Ms. Oh an airfare. He wants her to take the flight tomorrow. Yet, the vice chairman is taken to the police station. No reported him to the police as his accomplice. Obviously, Ms. O blames the vice chairman. But why No also tuned himself in? They used my family to threaten me. And I used the butler's son to threaten him. In-song drives a wedge between No and vice chairman. Interrogating the vice chairman, the officer learns that No is loyal. He is a fellow countryman of the chairman. In a short time, Phantom decides to launch the driverless system. It will be streamed all over the world. Kim left a tracker. Before In-song gave O the technology, Barrow 4.0 will be turned into a weapon against Ms. O. The officer gives a bill to In-song. It's also the best weapon to shake No's mind. In-song knows that No almost took the blame for his superiors. Ms. O helped him out. He isn't the only one whom received her help. In-song shows No the bill. It's his previous senior's ghost account. In 2020, he received 200 billion won. On the day No was demobilized. It's obvious that his previous senior didn't push him into such a situation. It is O's plan to turn No into her spy. No is just a chessman to her. When the driverless car is announced to the whole world, O makes a speech. In-song asks her if it's safe. They get in the car for the first ride. The car is heading to the downtown. The whole journey is streaming. Kim activates his tracker when the car stops at the traffic light. The car storms out of the line. It runs at full speed and keeps changing the lane. In-song knows this will happen. That is the analytical results of Barrow 4.0 artificial intelligence. It will be footloose and fancy-free once it finds a quicker way to the destination. That's why Kim wanted to delay the launch. Se-yeon sends a link to everyone. It's the footage of the first aid process when Kim's injured. Keep you alive until I give another order. The car stops and the police is right behind them. In-song advises O to surrender. Yet, she drives the car to the nearest airport. The car runs at a high speed. Kim knows she won't stop there. So he leads the car straight to the police station. When the car stops, O opens the door. She is surrounded by reporters. Turns out the surroundings on her way is just the new technology of vision. At the last minutes, Kim is present in front of the public. O can't say a word when In-song accuses her of the accident. Ms. O is handcuffed. When In-song admits his identity, the police begins to investigate Phantom. People throw eggs at O. The company is going to collapse. It will go out of business soon. Losing Phantom is like losing everything. The vice chairman takes his own life. Se-yeon tells Min-ah that the one whom she talked with actually is AI. Emotional AI is a big error. So it planned to destroy itself. She picks the phone up, crying and begging him not to leave. Se-yeon comes towards In-song. They have a date on the beach. Hearing his daughter's voice, Kim can't destroy himself. The end. Please like and subscribe. Thanks for watching. See you next time.